Yeah, man. Greetings once again. Aba ayalewa mlak. Eruse kemang kamun silo samanzu zinyo lengwenyu uboya bengu. Bagwetu. I'm here to talk about something that I'm sure a lot of us are aware of. But sometimes we can be aware of things, and because we don't really get into them and talk about them, we dismiss them. Nine King. Judging and being judged. And when does judgment start being judgment? Yazi unokhuluma nomuntu. When you talk to someone and say, putting that glass on that table is risky, the glass may fall. You're giving that person a fact of life. The glass may fall and break. Somebody else may come, walk on that water, slip and break something. And then somebody now has to go to hospital. Now doctors have to take care of that person, and nurses have to take care of that person. Now that person's children, it's a whole chain reaction. It all started with, please don't put that glass there. But you felt judged when you were asked to remove the glass there. Now, when does advice or when does correction become judgment? Because now, in a lot of cases, you will never hear, now this is a fact. Think about it. You will never hear, even in your own circles, anybody saying, umthethwa wami nginje. Everybody knows me. Even in my hood, everybody knows me. Nasekaya, everybody knows me, that this is who I am and I'm like this. You'll never hear somebody saying that when they're doing something right. It is always when they're doing something wrong. When now does that person feel judged? When they are corrected? Or why or how does that person feel judged when they are told about who they are, which they profess to be, right? You say this is who you are. Now, when I tell you that what you are or what you say you are is offensive to not only me, but to many other people, why do you feel judged? My question is, when is judgment? Judgment. When does correction change into judgment? When does advice change into judgment? I spoke to a young girl recently. Sihlangane endleleni, nginsizwa ke mina ke, hawu ngayishelela intombi, hawu ntombi, hawu kwasha kwacima, ihlahla zakhula zaphinde zakhipha amafruti, imoto zayitshayisana eparking lot. Intombi ke manje, hawu kiki, hawu nsizwa. All right. Now ngithi ke kuye le ntombi, in that conversation, ubaba wakho ntombi ngoba ke sekumele ngihambise inkomo phela kuye. She says to me, I am not ready for marriage. How ntombi, if you are not ready for marriage, what are you ready for then? Now I turn around from ugumeshela, sengikhuluma naye ke manje sesiyaxoxa ngithi ntombi, do you realize when you are saying to me as a man, you are not ready for a committed relationship with me, you are saying to me you are ready for a relationship with no consequence. We can do whatever we want. We can go wherever we want, hurt each other the way we want, play with each other's feelings the way we want, with no consequence, with no accountability, because you're not ready for a committed relationship. And then when I move on, there's the narrative yoguti men are trash. Men are dogs, badlala ngathi. Same thing on the other side. Ndoda mawushela intombi, uyishelelani ungenama plans. Is it a trophy? Is it a medal? Are you taking numbers? What's happening? Are you counting how many girls you slept with for a badge of honor or something? Lalela ke sikutshele ke insizwa kithi. Insizwa kwenza lokho ayihlonishwa ezinye insizwa. Insizwa sihlonipha mayakhumuzi. And this is a fact. Because now a lot of our decisions create problems not only for us, but for the children that we give birth to in these careless relationships. No, we are still getting to know each other. No, we are still in. My one question is, when does correction, when does advice start being judgment? Mangizokubonisa ukuthi lento uyenzayo wrong. And the typical thing, normal human being, low level vibrating human thing to do is to look at me saying these things and not listening to what I say and look at me from what you perceive. Ngizokutshela lento ngikutshela yona. And when you won't listen to what I'm saying because you feel judged, and instead of listening to what I'm saying, you are going to hit back to me with something that you assume or something that you perceive. Example, unokhuluma iqiniso utshela umuntu into right, straight futhi umtshela ukuthi pheka, this is not black, it's white. And then instead of listening to the fact that this is not black, it's white, umuntu athi no, udakwe insango. Insango ke le ikhulumayo. Why? Because you are feeling judged. Ngento yaziyo nawe ukuthi uyabheda ngayo. Listen here, you can ningithuke all you want ukuthi ngibhema insango ngidakwe insango vele ngishilo ngathi ngiyayibhema insango bakwethu. Stop criticizing me for i-choice yami. Angithi wena udakwa ama-conflicts ekuseni. We all have our choice. But when does correction, when does advice become judgment? Let's ask ourselves and stop going around and saying, no, you are judging me, no, you are judging me. You only feel judged because you know what you're doing is wrong. That's it. If you didn't know that it's wrong, you wouldn't feel judged when it is pointed out to you. When does correction, when does advice start being judgment? Asizibuzeni lo mbuzo. And then maybe we can start opening lines of communication instead of criticizing the person that you feel judged by, instead of learning from the next person. Bakwethu isidakwa siyakusindisa impilo yakho. Isidakwa siyayisindisa impilo yakho. Isiboshwa siyayisindisa impilo yomuntu. Do not criticize what you perceive because you feel judged by the truth that is being portrayed. Let's have a second, sit down and have a second look at what judgment is. When I'm corrected, am I being judged or am I being corrected? When I'm being advised, am I being judged or am I being advised? What is judgment? Who can judge? And on what grounds can they judge on? I'm not a judge. The best you can call me is a social commenter. I talk about things I see. Nobody's judging anybody. Masikhuza ubheda, usuke ubheda, angeke sikhuza wenza into enhle. And you will never answer and say, mos ngiyangazi nginje, nasekhaya bayangazi nginje, kanti ukhulumela into right. You are always defending in nonsense. Asihlukaneni namasimba ke sibe abantu. Thokoza. Give thanks.